I don't know. Is it worth it? Doubt it. I just found about Supernova Massacre. Are you talking about in Israel? The October 7th? Yeah. It's pretty rough. You didn't know that happened? Or you just hadn't seen the video, I guess, maybe. People like to, here's where people fuck up. They like to say that's where this current stint with Israel and Palestine started. That's not true, right? It's been going on forever. But that was really bad. October 7th was fucking horrible. I don't think you can condone it or say that they deserved it or nothing like that. It was fucking horrible. What Israel's retaliation was not proportional at all.
What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us like
And fucking paragliders, that's crazy.
fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt we've been thinking for.
There is an argument to be made that they didn't even know the festival was happening. It wasn't a planned target, but because it was in a remote location, that once they got there, they would have heard the music and seen the people gathered and been like, oh, well, there's an easy fucking target. We don't know if that's true or if they intentionally targeted that site because there was a festival going on and a gathering of people. No one really knows. Just be AFK forever, Dr. J. How about that? Jesus. Always with the issues with this one.
And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the
Let's roll that intro.
Hey Daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible.
Tanana?
I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued.
Who is
But you know what I'm
Tanana?
most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome, guys. Welcome everybody. Shit's bad and getting worse. Donald Trump's posting crazy shit. He's in Japan. He's at Atsuko's house. He's inspecting her Ross dungeon. It just feels like overwhelming, like all the fucking time. I know that's the point. Like, they want to overwhelm you with shit, but goddamn, dude. Goddamn. Now even Trump is repeating the Steve Bannon shit, saying that he won't rule out a third term and that regardless of how the Constitution is written, the people should have a choice. And if they choose that he should be president again, he just got an MRI, and it's the only perfect MRI in the entire world. And you don't get perfect MRIs like that without... It's just so much, dude. And all that is covering a lot of scandals like this one.
So what happens when private hands start gripping the levers of public?
You know it wasn't a perfect MRI. An MRI is not part of a regular physical. He had an MRI because something was fucking wrong. Like, that's the reason you order an MRI, right? Yeah, of course it wasn't perfect.
So what happens when private hands start gripping the levers of public power? Stick with this one through the end, because if you've ever wondered whether the system still works in any way for regular people, these two stories are going to give you a reason to pause. In October 2025, two low-profile stories broke. One, the U.S. Army placed a drone parts order with a company called Unusual Machines.
Who do you think owns or is a part owner of Unusual Machines?
And the other, Dominion Voting Systems, was quietly sold to a firm called Liberty Vote, led by a longtime election
Liberty Vote sounds like a Stop the Steal company.
tech insider. So taken alone, these stories are easy to miss. But look at them side by side and something bigger starts to show. Let's start with the drone deal. The Army's 101st Airborne Division ordered about 3,500 drone motors and components to support a new field-assembled drone called ABE V101. They placed that order with Unusual Machines, a defense tech firm publicly traded as UMAC. And that same company brought on Donald Trump Jr. as an advisor in 2024. He holds more than 330,000 shares, a significant equity stake.
Wow. You leave RC Cola, God's gift to cola lovers, out of this, okay? That is literally the only soft drink I drink. You leave RC Cola out of this.
Machines, a defense tech firm publicly traded as UMAC. And that same company brought on Donald Trump Jr. as an advisor in 2024. He holds...
Oh, so Donald Trump Jr. became an advisor for this company that makes the ADV 101 drone. the attritable battlefield enabler, the ABE V1.01. And he had nothing to do. Nothing to do. Surge was amazing, but it's just gone. They brought it back for a little bit. I'm not even ashamed of this. I drove 2 hours to buy 4 cases of Surge when I was working out on the road. I had worked 12 hours that day, working 7 12s. It was an hour drive to the plant, so really it was like a 14-hour work day, and I drove 2 fucking hours one direction to buy 4 cases of Surge when they released them.
It's more than 330,000 shares, a significant equity stake. Both the company and Trump Jr.'s spokesperson say he had no role in securing the order.
He had no role in securing the drone order? That's wild.
And that may be true. But public materials don't indicate whether this was a competitively awarded contract. And the Army has signaled a target of about 20,000 additional components in 2026. So the appearance of influence still matters to the consent.
The only reason that these drone companies are popping up and becoming competitive for the U.S. is because of the, the National Defense Authorization, the NDAA. Remember, they ruled out that drones couldn't come from certain countries, including China, which is probably a good thing, but that let all these companies pop up. Now, how do you get your company to the top of the list? Well, you just invite the president's son to be a member of the board.
Both the company and Trump Jr.'s spokesperson say he had no role in securing the order. And that may be true. But public materials don't indicate whether this was a competitively
An additional 20,000 components will be placed in 2026 at minimum.
awarded contract. And the Army has signaled a target of about 20,000 additional components in 2026. So the appearance of influence still matters to the consent of the governed. Especially
Here's a hint. If you can't find Surge anymore, it's just gone, and they won't re-release it. There's even a page I follow on Facebook. It's like Bring Back Surge or whatever, and it has thousands of people following it. Won't bring it back. The closest thing you can get to Surge, you go to one of those Coke machines that has like you can mix your own drinks. It has like the touch screen on it, and get a mellow yellow limeade. That's about as close as you can get. It's pretty good. Our movie theater has one. That's what I always make. It's not a direct replacement. It's not as good, but it's close.
when it involves the family of the current president. And now the second story. On October 9th, Dominion Voting Systems was sold to Liberty Vote, a new company led by Scott Leyendecker. I'm butchering that name, I'm sure. But he's a former Republican elections director and founder of Knowink. Knowink's electronic poll books are used in 29 states and Washington, D.C. Dominion systems are used in roughly 24. That means one private actor now owns major infrastructure in both the check-in process and the vote counting side of elections.
That sounds safe.
State officials say they don't expect near-term operational changes, largely because contracts and certification timelines make quick alterations hard to pull off. But that doesn't mean people aren't watching. Because when the tools of war and the tools of democracy both end up in the hands of politically connected private actors, what starts to erode isn't just procedure, it's public trust. Quick plug here, if you like conversations like this, if they speak to you, I'm hosting a small Zoom salon on November 6th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. It's not a performance, it's just me and a few others gathering to talk through questions like these in a more personal way. There are only 4 spots left at the time I'm recording this, so if you'd like to join, you can visit the link here on screen to reserve your seat. All right, back to the pattern. James Madison warned that no man should be a judge in his own cause. Washington feared corruption would creep in through the channels of party passion, and Hamilton argued that the election process should resist cabal and intrigue and concentrated power. These weren't abstract ideals. They were civic guardrails meant to protect the public from subtle abuses of influence. And now, the son of the current president holds a large stake in a military contractor. The owner of major e-poll book company now also owns one of the nation's largest voting machine providers. No laws were broken that we know of. but the lines between public responsibility and private control are getting very blurry. In the Civil War, profiteers sold cheap gear to Union soldiers and became known as shoddy millionaires. In 2003, a voting machine CEO promised to help deliver Ohio to George W. Bush. These stories echo not because history repeats exactly, but because it keeps offering us the same test. So here's the real question. Do we still believe the system belongs to the people, or just to the ones who hold the keys? Let me know what you think, and if you're watching closely, keep watching, please. Because the more quiet the story, the more important it just might be. So what happens when private hands start gripping the levers of...
Imagine that. We had water called Crank 2.0 in the early 90s. It was awesome. I'd never heard of that. Crank 2.0. I did like Surge. Surge is a big deal. It's owned by Coca-Cola, but they won't bring the shit back. They did for a very limited time. It's like Taco Bell, dude. My mom, before she passed away, made these amazing, like, fried apple pie turnover things. It's basically like, around, like almost like a taco shell, a pie crust. She put some type of filling in it, and then she closes it, and then she fried it like in an oil in a pan. They're so fucking amazing. And I miss them all the time. Actually, I try to find replicas when I miss my mom. Anyways, Taco Bell has one called the Caramel Apple Empanada, and it's incredibly good. But they only bring it back for like 2 weeks once a year. What the fuck is that shit? Bring it back all the time, Taco Bell. Assholes. Anyways, corruption grows. Everything sucks. Donald Trump Jr. is on a drone company. Remember how much shit they talked about Hunter Biden, right? Hunter Biden is on this, and he doesn't know anything about it. And how can he be involved in this oil business and doing this, doing that? Bullshit. Donald Trump Jr. You think he's a drone expert, and that's why he's a partial owner and a member of the board, and you think that he didn't influence the contract at all? No. Who knows? I don't know what these are, but I saw them in my chat. I don't know. It wasn't like I wish I've asked members of my mom's family, like how she made them, but I guess it was just something my mom came up on her own. None of my sisters don't know. My dad's not around. He might have known, but my aunts, like my mom's sisters, they don't know. I don't know. I wish I could recreate it. The other good one is Hardee's. Hardee's has a really good, like a fried apple pie. It's pretty good, but not like my mom's.
SNAP benefits on November 1st. But I want to tell you the story that you know how we all know that they're going to stop paying SNAP benefits on November 1st. But I want to tell you the story that you're not going to hear on the news. The one where the Trump government shutdown wasn't a mistake. It is the blueprint. This government shutdown, it isn't just a thing that happened. This is the plan, a step-by-step plan to see exactly how far this government can push people before they break. That plan, you might know it as Project 2025. Because guys, when I tell you that they are running this play by play straight from that book. In chapter 10, they address the USDA. And it literally talks about how to dismantle SNAP piece by piece. Step 1, move SNAP out from under USDA and put it under HHS, Health and Human Services. That way they can push all the welfare services under one umbrella, making them easier to streamline and cut. Step 2, eliminate the USDA. Yes, that's the program that runs the SNAP program. Step 3, slash the $120 billion budget by reversing Biden-era benefit increases. And Project 2025 says we'll cut it using the excuse of efficiency. Step 4, bring back super strict rules, especially for adults without kids, ages 18 to 49, and expand general work rules for anybody from 16 all the way to 59. That means that millions could lose benefits overnight. Yes, guys, this even includes children in those households. And humiliation isn't the side dish, it's the main course. They're also closing loopholes for broad-based categories for programs like Heat and Eat and LIHEAP. Heat and Eat is a relatively complicated program, but the short version is that they basically gave increased SNAP benefits to people who were getting assistance for their heating bills through Heating Bill Assistance Program is called LIHEAP. Well, of course, HEAP is not being funded right now, or they're running on fumes because of the government shutdown. So this only further compounds the problem. So you have families who are going to go without SNAP benefits, and they're not going to have access to money to pay their heating bills. And this is a good time for me to remind everybody that it's getting cold outside. If you made it this far in the video, don't forget to drop the secret words "This is not an accident" in the comment section. Like, repost, and follow for updates. And you can also check out my new subscriber page, which is linked down below. And I'm going to do a subscriber only live tomorrow where we talk about my working theory for the week. Now, remind yourself that the people that were writing this,
I can't believe how many people are literally coming out and are so fucking against food stamps, man. Like, what the fuck? It's the narrative's always the same. Like, my life is hard, my job sucks, so fuck poor people. Like, what the fuck? That's not how it works.
weren't just writing it, they're the people executing it. USDA Secretary Brooke Rollins is running the show. Remember that in July of 2025, Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill cut over $1 trillion from Medicaid and SNAP using the exact same strategy. And the Food Research and Action Centers say that hunger could jump by 25% nationwide as a result of those cuts. In other words, it's not a mistake, it's part of the plan. One staffer on the Hill said, Project 2025 isn't a wish list. It's the shutdown's dress rehearsal. Engineer scarcity, blame the dependents, and watch self-reliance bloom or starve. And guys, it didn't start with the shutdown. Remember back in the spring of this year, Trump canceled $500 million USDA food shipments, cheese, butter.
Never, ever, ever in the history of all the shutdowns and all the governments had they not funded food stamps. They've always found a way, used emergency funds, tapped in, funded it. Always. Not this time.
Poultry, fruit, eggs that was already bought.
If you're into drones, like I'm in, you guys have seen my FPV drones, the drones I do. Unusual Machines, the company that's doing this, is a evolution of a company called Red Cat. And if you know who Red Cat is, they're tied to the YouTube channel and drone salespeople, Rotor Riot. So there's a group called Rotor Riot that everybody, if you're into drones, you know them from YouTube. Their parent company split off and became Red Cat. Red Cat became Unusual Machines, and Unusual Machines they've been trying forever to get military contracts. All it took was putting Don Jr. on the board.
For food banks, that's 94 million pounds of food, enough for 80 million meals. Feeding America says that food bank supplies dropped by 35%, leaving many food banks with less than 2 weeks of reserves. And then add to that you have grocery prices on the rise, up by about 2.7%. So people are starving on purpose. And of course, Brooke Rollins went on Fox News and said that this is about redirecting resources to real priorities and ending endless handouts. Then came the government shutdown, where more than 12,000 federal workers were furloughed. Who were some of those people furloughed, you might ask? SNAP processors and food safety inspectors. The people who make sure that the families get the food means that, of course, furloughing them means that approvals slow down, enrollments drop, and
It's not just food stamps, right? They went after food banks, they went after food assist, they went after fucking everything, basically.
benefits simply do not go out. Demand at food banks is jumping between like 20 and 50%.
And again, they have turned the base. Like, if you want to be mad about anybody about this, be mad at fucking corporations that don't pay a living wage. Like, a lot of people do work. They're like, get a job. They do work, right? Walmart and McDonald's are some of the biggest recipients of their employees of receiving food stamps. They don't make a wage that pays enough for them to buy fucking food.
In some states. Here comes the part that's really going to piss you off. Some states, the states that have reserves, are going to be able to pay benefits in November, and states that rely more heavily on federal funding, of course, they're not going to be able to pay.
And not only are they saying, and we're not doing it, we're not funding food stamps, they even told states that are trying to figure out how to fund their own food stamps within the states that, hey, we won't reimburse you if you fund it.
case you thought that you couldn't dislike dump anymore, I'll direct you to the 10 October directive that Trump had sent out to USDA that told them not to release the $5 to $6 billion in SNAP emergency reserves, money that Congress had already approved for this kind of an emergency. And legally, those benefits are mandatory. This is why during the 2018-2019 shutdown, the USDA continued to pay out benefits with no problems. This time, Trump is directing them not to pay benefits that Congress has already earmarked for those benefits. Of course, the USDA is coming out blaming this shutdown on Democrats. And basically now you have lawyers and Democratic lawmakers coming out and saying, no. Trump is breaking the law. This is illegal. He is telling the USDA not to issue funds to people so that he can use it as leverage against the Democrats to get them to reopen the government.
And all of these websites, like the USDA's websites and shit, if you go to them, it says like radical left lunatic Democrats have shut down the government. That's why you're not. That's a violation of the Hatch Act, right? You cannot use these websites for partisan messaging.
Without making any concessions. So here we are, a government shutdown that was not a mistake, but yet part of a calculated plan. So for clarification, Project 2025 didn't just dream up benefit rollbacks and increased work requirements. It scripts furloughs, freezing emergency funds, and letting families fall through the cracks. Now you have 25 states saying that on November 1st, benefits will stop.
What is their goal here? I don't think it's to kill a bunch of poor people, but if you're in a group that you can't feed your family, how worried are you that the president's tearing down the East Wing, or that he's signing a contract with this corporation, or that he's doing favors for these other people, or that he's invading this other like all you're worried about is feeding your fucking family.
As in will not be paid. Food banks rationing their last cans of food. I guess the only question left is how many empty plates before Congress or the courts step in? Or will, of course, negotiation become the hunger tactic of 2025? Let me know how you guys feel about our president that is supposed to be working for all the American people using hunger as a tool
So anyways,
to strong-arm the Democrats into submission. You know how we all know
insane. I just want to show you this really quick. This is what I was talking about. Rotor Riot, the YouTube channel, Red Cat Holdings, and Unusual Machines. This is a clip. The guy talking here is Josh Bardwell, and he does this podcast. I think this guy goes by the name Nubby or something like that, but Josh Bardwell is huge in like the drone and getting started drone. He has a bunch of videos how to start flying drones, blah, blah, whatever. He does drone reviews. He's friends with the Rotor Riot guys, so just listen to this rundown real quick. And again, they've been trying for years and years and years and years and years to get government contracts. They really haven't gotten anywhere until who joins the company? Oh, Don Jr.
I think it's a little less like direct.
This is from a year ago, by the way.
Relevant to many people because like a lot of people shop at Race Take Once and Get FPV. This one's about Red Cat and Rotor Riot and Fat Shark.
Yes. So we've brought you these stories for a while, and it's been a minute
Fat Shark is another company they own.
since we talked about it because we were waiting on this to all happen.
Yeah.
We talked to you about a while back about Red Cat signing an agreement to divest their consumer business, which is Fat Shark and Rotor Riot, both companies together. And the plan was to divest those to Unusual Machines. Unusual Machines is essentially, from what I can tell, is a company primarily meant to accept these two companies.
Right. So you've got Red Cat. And Jeff Thompson is the founder of Red Cat, and there's a few other people who are sort of board members or owners. I don't know what the hell you call them. And then Red Cat owns a bunch of companies, including Fat Shark and Rotor Riot. And for some reason, Red Cat doesn't want to own Fat Shark and Rotor Riot anymore. So Jeff Thompson creates Unusual Machines. It just sounds like a lot of corporate sort of deck chair shuffling. Am I off base there?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does.
In hindsight, they were getting ready for this. They're getting ready to sign military contracts.
Like that. I mean, that's what we talked about originally. Was sort of seemed like the plan was like, hey, we don't want to have this consumer division anymore. Red Cat wants to go commercial.
If you go to if you Google Unusual Machines and go to their website, home here, and then we scroll down right there, that's a Rotor Riot drone. That's their logo on it, right? And if you scroll down here, that's their logo right there on that flight controller. That helmet with the little thing, that is, and there's three pieces of a rotor, like a tri-blade. That is their logo. It's 100% the same company.
So let's divest the consumer business, get it out of there. And the plan was to do that with an IPO of a new company. So the original plan was that they would IPO Unusual Machines for $15 million.
No, $15 million. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and that was contingent. Basically, if you can IPO for $15 million and get that 15, we'll do the deal.
Dude, I have so much anxiety. I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this because there's something fucking broken in me. I have so much anxiety from being like young and going in to buy stuff and having to count change and like being short and wondering if I had enough money and shit, that if there's ever someone in line with me and they're like, and you know, usually what happens is like they'll hand like the cashier the money and the cashier will be like, well, you still owe like such and such, and then they start like digging. I always pay for that. I don't give a damn. It makes me fucking start sweating and get anxious because I was there as a kid. Like, oh, well, you still owe me like $3.18. I don't give a fuck. I got it. Don't worry. Yeah, you're good. Go ahead. Like, you can add it to mine. Whatever the balance is, you can add it to mine. I panic for them. Like, it has nothing to do with helping them. Like, I'm freaking out in the line. I don't know. I can't handle it.
Right? And then if you can't, we don't. Okay. And then a few months later, they were like, well, actually, how about 10 million?
No, they didn't get any takers at 15 million, huh?
And then about 6 months later, they were like, okay, what about 5 million?
No, so they didn't get any takers at 10 million.
Yeah. So at 5 million, they have successfully IPO'd this company.
They found someone to give them $5 million in exchange for stock in this company. And but before you go on, Blenty, let's just take a quick look here and see how the stock's doing. Huh.
Yeah, the stock opened at $4.
I wonder how their stock's doing now. They signed this giant military contract. At $15. Damn. $2.92 to $15.13. Damn.
Was the share price. And as we can see, that has unfortunately gone down quite a bit. And I would expect to continue to trend down. We don't really know where it's going to end up, but after hours trading is 2.5 on that, so not amazing. But we'll see where it goes, right?
Wow.
And again, what was the real point of this? So
well, that's the thing. That's the thing, because like, what was the point of it? Like, why? Here's the thing. If I'm looking on Facebook Marketplace and I see someone is selling,
what was the point of it? They plan on putting Don Jr. as a board member and getting a bunch of military contracts. We didn't know this a year ago, but that's what they were moving towards.
An item, and they list it for $500, and then I come back a week later and it's listed for $300, and then I come back a week later and it's listed for $100. I'm like, either they severely overpriced it in the beginning, or like they really.
And the NDAA helped them a lot, right? Banning non-U.S. made drone parts from police, law enforcement, military, all that stuff, right? It basically, they banned DJI. DJI was the leading company in all these drones. Commercial drones, military, and maybe that's a good thing, right? We don't want China being able to shut off our drones or shut them down. We need homegrown. But a bunch of companies were already banking on that way ahead of time, and this is one of them. And all they needed, the missing part of the recipe there was Don Jr.
Really just need to see it gone.
Yeah, I'm assuming for two reasons, right? One is you want to divest consumer business. You don't want it to be involved anymore.
I wish at the time I knew what they were doing. I knew they were going for military contracts. Everybody did. That's what their Red Cat brand was for. Could you imagine if you put $1,000 or $5,000 or something in it at $2.50? Huh? $5,000 would have made you what? $30,000 in a year?
But they're still a shareholder. You know, they're still holding most of the shares of this company. Like, it's 4.25 million versus 1.25 million for everybody else. Red Cat owns 4.25 million shares. So I think the way this is working is essentially Red Cat is building value.
Yeah, I don't get into like, no, I think this was on mine, or that was you're the one who ordered this. I don't care, whatever.
By giving the price of the 1 million shares $5 million, that means they own $15 million valuation in the company now. They were able to get rid of Red Cat and Rotor Riot to another company, and now on the books they have a $15 million asset because that's what it IPO'd at. That's my thought process. But I don't know. I'm not a business guy, right? So.
I mean, no, those numbers work. That's like how it's done. But right. I'm just confused. Like, I mean, I guess they, instead of having a $5 million company, they now have a $15 million company. But nothing's different. It's all, I hate finance and I hate business. It all feels so sleazy. And that's because, I'm sure it's just because I don't understand it. But you got these two things, and you wanted to sell them for $15 million, and then you sold them, but you didn't sell all of them, and now you still own them, and suddenly they're worth more. It's just, I don't know. It's
yeah,
weird.
I mean, like I said, to me this is wealth creation, but I don't really know how that works. It does seem
I
like
believe it's
basically
wealth
they were like, hey, we don't know that Rotor-Riot and Fat Shark are worth 15 million, but we're going to put out a deal and say you can IPO at 15, and then we're going to have shares in the company. And then essentially it worked out to be the case that they were like, okay, now there's just a fake value, not fake, but there's a presumably valuation made up by the investors that invested to say this is worth that amount of money on the books. So now Red Cat has a $50 million asset. And I think that's probably beneficial to them working into leveraging that money like they did for their 60 million or whatever they got in the
Well, right.
the last deal, right?
Their Red Cat IPO got what, $50-60 million, which was impressive.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like, hang on. So here is it's Red Cat, RCAT, right?
RCAT,
Red Cat Holdings. So you look at Red Cat
at 697. Red Cat was at 70 cents. Red Cat was at 70 cents. It's now at $11.47.
Let's see, that's about right. You look at Red Cat's price and you're like, oh, okay, they did their IPO and it went down. I think they did did they do another offering, another stock offering? What's this bump?
I think that was the IPO, right? Or no, the IPO was the first one, and then they did I don't know, I can't remember.
Okay, my point is this. You look at this company and you go, is this a company that I should be investing a lot of money in? These guys, this company wants to sell off 2 of their subsidiaries and do a secondary IPO. Well, yeah, let's give these guys $5 million. Like, I know past performance is not a blah, 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 but like, I don't know. It's weird. I'd like to sell something for $5 million. I have a company.
Fair enough.
I should do an IPO. I declare IPO! Money, please. Is that how it works?
No, you just have to make up a bunch of like stuff.
Oh, I see.
Oh, big update for you guys. I got all the plumbing working in the office at the campground. So it's draining. I was able to fill and flush toilets. I was able to get one of the showers spraying and draining. It's coming together a little bit.
That's why I'll never be a businessman. Okay.
Just say for legal reasons, I'm not saying Red Cat made up anything. They filed everything legally as far as the SEC is concerned.
Yes, of course. So now Fat Shark and Rotor-Riot are a separate company, but still mostly owned by the same guy. But like for some reason it matters that those are separate books. What about the Blue UAS thing? Maybe it's because Rotor-Riot and Fat Shark have ties to China. Of course, Rotor-Riot is a
used to have ties to China. Now they're a military contractor.
This company hires U.S. people, but a lot of the products they build are sort of tied to China, right? They're binoculars and stuff. And of course, Fat Shark manufactures in China. What if Red Cat, with the teal drones thing, they're trying to do some kind of U.S.-based UAS thing, and they get rid of the China connection?
We know that already. Yeah, we know that already because their whole thing is teal. Their like whole thing forever has been teal drones, and teal is blue. That was their entire goal basically for a long time. They also partnered with a couple new companies, Tomahawk Robotics and Reveal Technology, who are both like military defense companies.
Tomahawk, that makes the Tomahawk hand controller?
I have no idea. Tomahawk.
I do think it's I don't think it. These guys have worked their ass off. They've built the YouTube channel. They've done this thing. I just think it's kind of disgusting that they knew the part they were missing was Don Jr. They get Don Jr. and suddenly they get this gigantic contract just dropped in their laps.
Robotics is the company they listed.
Oh my god. Is this who makes the Tomahawk hand controller? Shut the hell up. That's the hand controller that's used on the Lockheed Indigo, I think. Maybe it's not the Indigo. Oh, anyway. You're telling me that Red Cat owns Tomahawk? Is that what you're telling me?
No. They're partner. They made a partnership with Tomahawk Robotics and Reveal Technology to basically work together to build their Blue SUAS solution to make sure they can focus on this. And
the Tomahawk hand controller is this what they use. It's basically a FPV FPV drone controller with a screen built in. It's not supposed to be able to be jammed and stuff. This is early. A lot has changed since the Ukraine war has shown us so much stuff. But again, this was a thing for a while.
And I'm assuming the money is so that they can do that, right? Like they spent a lot of that money from the books that we were seeing before. They spent a whole bunch of that money at 60 million. They needed to pad the books again. So
okay,
it used to. I don't know if it still does, but it literally had a Galaxy S20 in here for the screen and the computer element, whatever. The chips and the boards and shit. It had a Galaxy S20 embedded in this controller.
Told by Adam Weatherall that nothing said here about stocks is accurate. Yes, that's true. We don't know shit about stocks and finance. 3 times
during this conversation, I know nothing about this at all.
However, from a layperson's, here's what I'll say: the stock market is bullshit. It's just, you see, when a company needs to raise money, they sell shares in the company, and then they have part owners who benefit from the profits. Yeah, that's not the stock market. Is
when the stock market at its simplest form, and this simple explanation is what it used to be. Now there's so many shady backroom, this, that, the other, insider trading, what is this? Split the shock, sell it over here. Now it's worth more. Separate it from that company, combine it with this one.
Is a freaking money-generating gambling shell game where bankers, and I just smell all that in this. And of course it doesn't make sense to normal people. You know, neither does a pyramid scheme. Anyway, what do we know? We're not bankers.
There you go. There you go. Rotor-Ride is this channel. It's a cool channel. I still watch some of it. Well, I haven't in a while, but I haven't been fucking with my drone in a while since the flood and shit. But like they just had Kai Cenat, one of the largest streamer, I'm sure, right now on, and they taught him how to fly a drone, basically.
Come on! He said you out!
There you go. That's Rotor-Ride channel. They do drone reviews. They review other people's. They build drones. They fly drones. They teach. They do all kinds of shit. That's what we got going on currently in the U.S. Don Jr. is just the glue that holds it all together. Not like Hunter Biden. This is completely different.
Be 100% clear. We are not cutting SNAP because we are shut down. We are cutting SNAP because the administration had decided not to spend the reserves at the USDA in November and to deny people their benefits. So we have the money. We don't have to do any fancy, complicated thing that we can't do during a shutdown. There's $5 billion there in reserves. In case you haven't heard, we had $20 billion to give to Argentina, and we're building a new ballroom on the White House. So we seem to have plenty of money. I want to be 100% clear. We are not cutting SNAP because we are shut down. We are cutting SNAP because the administration had decided not to spend the reserves at the USDA in November and to deny people their benefits. So we have the money. We don't have to do any fancy, complicated thing that we can't do during.
The money's sitting in an emergency fund. I wouldn't listen to those guys for financial advice. I don't think that's what they do. They do drones.
A shutdown, there's $5 billion there in reserves. In case you haven't heard, we had $20 billion to give to Argentina, and we're building a new ballroom on the White House. So we seem to have plenty of money. I want to be 100% clear.
Because it puts more pressure, and Donald Trump thinks it makes the Democrats look worse, right? He can say the Democrats did that, right? I'm not required to. They shut the government down. They won't, even though they're the only ones showing up to work over and over and over and over. Yeah. And the federal workers that are furloughed.
They're taking back pay away from government workers while ICE is getting super checks?
Yeah.
What are super checks?
Advanced pay. Here's the thing is normally during a government shutdown, you have
ICE workers are getting super checks. What is super check? They're getting paid ahead, advances on their pay.
pay. Here's the thing is normally during a government shutdown, you have two kinds of workers. You have essential workers that continue to work and furloughed workers that don't.
No one needs to get fired, and they're both required by law to get back pay.
Right. But what's happening now is the administration has essentially created four classes of government workers.
I'm tired. Should I really care about this?
Well, they're actively hurting people and counting on you not understanding to use that to their
Chinga la migra.
Okay, so they're paying ICE extra?
The president has stepped outside of his legal authority and ordered that some unused funds be used to pay active military as well as law enforcement, and some of those law enforcement are even getting advanced pay.
In their defense, if we're paying anyone during the shutdown, it probably should be the people that are...
Why would anybody, shut down or not, be getting advanced pay? Why?
Us safe.
But it's not. It's more like people that make the administration look like they have power, because the people that actually do keep us safe, like TSA agents, the FDA, air traffic controllers, they're working without pay.
That's the second class?
Right. And then the third class is the furloughed workers,
who are guaranteed back pay too.
That is what the administration is trying to walk back. They're saying that the law only authorizes back pay. It doesn't allocate it, which means that it can't guarantee it.
Which isn't true.
True? No. The law says that back pay will be paid as soon as possible after appropriations end.
Back pay will be paid as soon as possible after appropriations end. Not that it's optional.
I don't know what that means. It just means that Congress doesn't have to allocate any special funding for back pay. As soon as the government shutdown ends, back pay automatically comes out of departments' budgets. But furloughed employees are different, right? I mean, they're not actually working. It doesn't matter. The law specifically says furloughed workers and those that are required to continue working. Why is this the fight that they're picking? Are they going to do something crazy with that money, like build a fucking ballroom at the White House? The more pain that people feel, the more they want the shutdown to end. But it's the administration that's artificially creating very real financial pain for people. Right. But if people don't understand where the pain is coming from, they're just upset about the pain. The administration can use that to their advantage. So the guys with guns are getting paid early. The people that are keeping us safe are working without pay. Furloughed workers might not get any pay at all. What's the fourth class? That would be the thousands of workers that the administration has used the shutdown as an excuse to fire, because no one needs to get fired during a shutdown. Right. While ICE is getting super checks. The biggest checks. No one's ever gotten bigger checks. No, don't do that. People are miserable already. Right, sorry, I shouldn't have done that. They're taking back pay away.
Insane, dude. Every day, those big checks, the big giant novelty checks. I always think back to The Office where he does like a fundraiser, a run for like to cure rabies or some shit. And they only raise like a couple $100. And like the check was like $300 of the amount they raised to buy a novelty check. Christy Nome posted, every day Democrat lawmakers attack the men and women of law enforcement. Now they have shut down the government, putting our officers and their families at financial risk. President Trump and I will always stand by law enforcement. Today we are keeping our promises to always support them by making sure they are paid during the Democrat shutdown. More than 70,000 sworn law enforcement officers across DHS, including those serving in CBP, ICE, Secret Service, TSA, and other critical mission areas, will be paid for all hours worked during the shutdown period. By Wednesday, October 22nd, law enforcement officers will receive a super check, which covers the 4-day lost, their overtime, and their next pay period. So they got 4 days when everything was getting worked out for the shutdown. Their overtime that was during that period, and a future pay period. DHS remains deeply grateful to our law enforcement for their continued professionalism, vigilance, and service under challenging circumstances. You know, just a normal day in the freest country in the world. Even Koreans won't come back, dude. This is Etsuko's great uncle, Lee Jae-myung.
Many in Korea were surprised because our workers.
I know I do. I don't wonder if I know somebody that works for us. I know I do. As many people as I served with in the military, I know somebody that works for us. Guaranteed.
Many in Korea were surprised because our workers who went to the United States to help the U.S. with its manufacturing renaissance received irrational treatment. This has also caused severe trauma for the workers as well, and I've heard that some workers do not want to go back. So, without taking measures to ensure the safety and rational treatment of these workers, there is a high possibility that factory construction in the U.S. may be significantly postponed. These workers are highly trained and talented people, but the experience of being handcuffed and detained in a foreign country is not only traumatic and unbelievable for the workers, but also for their families. Unless we completely resolve this issue, I believe that they will not want to return.
They don't even want to come back. And all that does is slow down. This was so stupid. It was called in from a tip. They went there, raided the place. These are people that were helping to open a factory that Trump promised bringing back these jobs. What is this? After watching Candace Owens' stream, it says hashtag Christian talk. They're blaming it all on the Jews. I'm with Candace on this. For years, some of us have been loudly telling people that it's not left versus right, it's us versus them, and they are afraid of being united on anything. All those politicians are dirty. I hope God keeps Candace safe for having the guts to finally say the quiet part out loud. I'm a liberal, and she needs to be protected at all costs. I think both sides are being played by the same people who arranged Kirk's unaliving. We know who it is. We all know who it is, but nobody wants to say it. Left wing, right wing, it's all the same Jewish bird. I believe Candace 100%. Anyone who follows Candace Owens is lost. She's all over the place and has lost any wisdom or discernment she might have had. Just because she might be correct on some things doesn't mean she's correct on all things. Nah, she's safe. The Shapiro guy is safe, and others like them are safe. Why? Because none of our presidential like Charlie Kirk was, who held a golden ticket to the White House in 2028. Yeah, that smile would have disqualified Charlie Kirk. It's the Jews, guys. The Jews did it, obviously.
What I want you guys to know about Charlie is he also used to dream very vividly. And because we traveled together so much, he would wake up, we would text, and he would tell me about those vivid dreams. And we talked about a lot of things, as you do when you get to know somebody. We talked about the spiritual realm. We talked about religion, our faith, most importantly, what our life's purpose was. And there was this period in April where Charlie kept insisting to me over and over again that he was going to die young. In fact, he told me that Turning Point USA was going to be the death of him. I'm going to show you some of those messages now, a particular set of messages that were written on April 6th, 2018, just a couple of weeks before Kanye tweeted, "I love the way Candace Owens thinks," which
it's also not helping that his wife comes off as so stilted and rigid and fake, right? People are starting to think that the wife was just a plant, or she was there from the Jews or whatever, and he really loved Candace but knew he couldn't be with her, or crazy shit.
is relevant because a lot of things changed after that tweet. And it's relevant because Charlie sensed that something big was about to happen. And I think that is what the something big was. We were again talking about Kanye. Charlie wrote to me, "You're going to be the Iron Lady."
You're going to be Iron Lady of America. I see it so fucking clearly. I might be Moses, though. I might not see this whole thing through. Lamau, if that is the case, be my David. Dude, you don't even realize your power yet. If I tell you the true prophecy, I know in my gut it's really sad, but I hope it's wrong.
Of America. He had such a political vision for me. I never wanted that sort of a thing. I see it so freaking clearly. I might be Moses, though. I might not see this whole thing through. LMAO. If that is the case, be my David. I said,
well, she's super racist, anti-Semitic, but she's also black, so they get an out card saying, "Oh, she's a black woman." Duh. She's really fringe. We have a family member who kind of went crazy, neo-Nazi, anti-COVID, kind of had this weird breakdown, and exclusively follows Candace Owens.
You haven't even realized your power yet. You're so young, is what I was thinking. He said, "If I tell you the true prophecy that I know in my gut, it's really sad, but I hope it's wrong." He went on to say, "Anyway, I am not sure if I will live to see the end of this revolution. I believe you were the piece that God meant me to meet that will finish the fight. Since the beginning of TPUSA, I knew in my gut that I might get wiped out at any time. I cannot explain it, but I dream about it all the time, like all the time. Anyway, that's depressing combo for another time, LMAO. I said, "That's weird, more of a fear manifestation than actualization." He said, "I'm not really afraid of it, but I'm just telling you what I know to be true." And he told me that. He told me that. I don't know why. Charlie knew he was going to die young. And I don't know. I just felt like I needed to share that because it is in part why
Also, she's going to make a shit ton of money because she's about to lose it all to the French guy and his wife.
Moment that Charlie got shot, I just
Macron
was betrayed spiritually. In the same way that Charlie knew that he was going to die young, I knew that this was a part of something bigger. And so I wanted to say to you guys, to the people that betrayed Charlie, I would recommend that you come clean, okay? I would recommend that you come clean because Charlie said some other things, and I look at these things now and I think, wow, it's almost prophetic, right? It's almost prophecy, and I can tell you that this is a story that will have a happy ending, a tragedy that will have a happy ending. The world is going to learn the truth about this. They are. What I want you guys to know about Charlie is he also
How bad can I possibly be? There's a principle in business that everybody knows its sound. It says the people with the money.
Uh-oh, no.
Go round.
it feels a little fake.
Come on, how bad can it possibly be? How bad can I be? I'm just building the economy. How bad can I be? Just look at me petting this puppy. How bad can I be? A portion of proceeds goes to charity. How bad can I be? How bad could I possibly be? Let's see.
The free press is joining paramount.
We'll do everything we can to support the country as well.
And the money's multiplying. And the PR people are lying.
Can you tell who she's trying to blame it on yet?
You holding up very good, the new ballroom.
And the lawyers are denying. How bad can I possibly be? There's a principle in business.
Trump wants a Nobel Peace Prize, by the way, for the planned ethnic cleansing so that they could profit on the land and turn it into a beach town. So let me say this. This is our never again. You need to tell your children what happened in Gaza. You need to tell them exactly who did it, exactly whose families were involved in this. And when you hear in the future somebody tell you, like, we're going to Gaza Beach for a vacation, you need to look at them like they are the absolute vermin of our society, because they are. Their children will be cursed. You go and you play in the sand where you know that your forefathers planned to mass murder children. Your children's children will be cursed. Gaza belongs.
I wonder why they don't feel that same way about slavery. They're like, get over it. It happened hundreds of years ago. What is wrong with you guys?
To nobody but the Palestinians. You can't commit that much evil.
Because Israel, they can't tie it as directly to Israel. They'll still try to say that Israel ran all the boats that delivered every slave because they were behind it all.
And on daylight and not think it's going to come back to haunt you. Anyways, God bless. May he get his Nobel Peace Prize. And Trump wants a Nobel Peace Prize. Charlie's neck indeed did stop the bullet, without question. Okay, and this is going to dispel a lot of theories that are out there. And I'm telling you this 100%. Charlie Kirk was shot from the front, and the bullet.
Did it stop it? I mean, it destroyed like all the fucking vertebrae on the way down. It did what a body does.
Did not exit, and at least a fragment of the bullet was recovered from his neck. And I'm going to tell you exactly where it was recovered from. I have fact-checked this information from multiple sources now. I've actually been sitting on this for a little bit over a week. Right around here. So think about almost in line with your shoulder blade right in the center. Now, why is that helpful? Because it gives us a bullet trajectory, okay? It went in here where you saw that, and it was stopped, and a fragment was pulled from, right, if you're just touching your spine.
I think they don't understand bullets bounce, and a fragment could have came from literally anywhere. Like it hit bone and destroyed bone after bone after bone after bone after bone. And then the last bone, or the first bone that's not destroyed, they found a fragment near.
In line with your shoulder blade. That leads us obviously to the part that he's maybe not being forthcoming about. They did not recover a bullet from a 30-06. They didn't recover a bullet from a 30-06. This didn't happen, okay? If they found a 30-06 bullet, Charlie's death certificate certainly would have reflected that. In suicide situations, that's just one example. Medical examiners, feel free to chime in. I've spoken to quite a few. But when the gun and the bullet are known, they are reflected onto the death certificate, okay? There is not one reflected onto Charlie Kirk's death certificate because they did not recover a bullet from a 30-06. Hunters and military men rejoice. It turns out that common sense still rules the roost, okay? You guys were right. You were absolutely right. And this is why I hate politics, because it requires us to submit to the idea that we were all somehow born yesterday. It means that he was shot with a completely different kind of gun, obviously, okay? The kind where this would make sense, that it didn't cut through him. The kind where it would make sense that outside of an artery effectively exploding from the front, there was, his neck didn't explode, which that particular weapon that they were trying to tell us Charlie was killed with would have gone through about 7 necks. There were people who were insisting, by the way, they're on the ground, the witnesses that were insisting that they heard multiple shots. That's another element of this. Charlie's neck indeed.
Why would people on the ground surrounded by buildings insist they heard multiple shots? Even if they weren't surrounded by buildings, they're going to say they heard multiple shots from the crack and the boom.
They sent out Dinesh D'Souza after me. It was very, very convincing, by the way. He sent out a tweet to convince people they shouldn't watch me, he said.
This is what I mean. These are people who are supposed to be combating Candace Owens. Instead, they tweet stuff like this. I can't comment on Candace because it's quite obviously a freak show, like driving on the highway and seeing a farmer having sex with a sheep. You don't want to look, but you can't look away either. The problem begins when you try to analyze it. It is what it is.
I can't comment on Candace because it's quite obviously a freak show. It's like driving on the highway and seeing a farmer having sex with a sheep. You don't want to look, but you can't look away either. The problems begin when you try to analyze it. It is what it is. And I love that Yashar Ali replies and says, this is what I mean. These are the people who are supposed to be combating Candace Owens. Instead, they tweet stuff like this. Yeah, hi, Dinesh. Kind of weird, man. We cannot relate. I got to tell you, if I ever was in this awful scenario where I saw a farmer trying to have sex with a sheep, I feel very much that I can not only look away, but I can call the police, okay? So if that's kind of what you're selling, you know how, like, when you can't look away from bestiality? Dinesh, we want to know your opinion on me, not what's on your laptop and how they maybe blackmailed you, okay? That's not what we're interested in, Dinesh D'Souza. And he's like, well, I meant that as a joke. You didn't mean as a joke. You went it seriously, and it was weird. It got weird very quickly. Then we learned more about you than we learned about me. That seems to be the circumstance. It's like a complete boomerang. But yeah, they're really starting to scrape the bottom of the barrel and finding people that are some weird stuff. They sent out Dinesh D'Souza after me. It's very, very convincing, by the way. He sent out a tweet to convince people they shouldn't watch me. He said, I can't comment on Candace because it's quite obviously a freak show. It's like driving on the highway and seeing a farmer having sex with a sheep. You don't want to look, but you can't look away either. The problems begin when you try to analyze it. It is what it is. And I love that. I went ahead this week and sent around a life insurance policy of sorts, a package rather, to people that I trust, a package filled with text messages, emails, private communications, videos, and private legal documents. So if anything happens to me, you guys will know exactly who it is that has been making my life a living hell over the past couple of years. People that are trying to bankrupt me, trying to bankrupt me and my family. They're threatening us to sue us. Everything that
Well, you're committing slander and defamation, obviously. So.
Said was so real. Okay, I'm now at that point where you look back and you go, man, Kanye was right. He was really saying something about what it takes.
What's crazy is like how fast the information travels. It benefits, like if I wanted to just go viral, all I was concerned about was going viral, having followers and making money. It would benefit me to just come out and lie and say crazy things. Because you come out and say something fucking wild, by the time it's disproven a month, 2 months, 3 months down the road, and people have data, like look at how effective 2,000 Mules was. All of that's been debunked. Every fucking bit. There's been lawsuits. There's been retractions. They had to stop hosting the fucking movie. But look how effective it was. And no one saw the retractions. No one's like, oh, I wonder why they had to pull that movie and they're no longer hosting it anymore because it was all bullshit. It benefits you to just come out and fucking say crazy lies and move on with your life while everybody else is debunking it. You've already told 100 more lies.
To leave, to fight for custody of your own soul. Just leave me alone. Let me say what I believe and you say what you believe. Fight fair. Why do you always have to make this threat to bankrupt people? And I want you to know that those people, if anything happens to me, they have my explicit permission to release it all, detonate it all, expose all of these people in politics and in the movement who behave like this behind the scenes. It's necessary. And I highly recommend every single person that's out there that has a platform and is going through things.
Of course, Kanye's thing is the Jews came after him, right? He calls them the bank people. I mean, he explicitly says Jews sometimes, but he said the people with the banks, the people with the contracts, people in the industry, they all came after me and destroyed me.
Do the same. I went ahead this week. So I was just so...
Sorry, we're just going through some of her clips to see what she's been talking about lately.
Happy, literal tears.
This is a longer one, so I'm going to speed it up some.
Eyes when a donor from Turning Point USA, a donor that actually then unlocked a whole another level of donations for Charlie Kirk through introductions that he made for Charlie, and a donor who it's ironically, this is the very donor that when I said to Charlie, we need to be in the UK, and he's like, well, I know somebody who I can maybe have some event, we can start Turning Point UK, and that event was when I first laid eyes on George. Now, when I spoke to him, when I actually first laid eyes on him, that donor issued a public statement. And I think he will be the first of many donors that might make a public statement. And he made this statement in my favor. This was written by him and his wife, two wonderful people, John and Irina Mappin. I'm just going to read it because I think these words don't just eloquently express how I'm feeling, but I think these words eloquently might express how we are all feeling worldwide. Like I read this and I said to myself, I couldn't.
When's the last time that Trump mentioned Charlie Kirk?
Have written this better myself with all the time in the world. John and Arena write, Charlie Kirk built Turning Point USA on transparency, free speech, and a relentless pursuit of truth. We are witness to that. If Candace Owens had been assassinated, Charlie would have torn apart every lie and devoted every working day and night to uncovering the full truth. He would not have trusted the authorities to deliver justice. He would have demanded it from the rooftops. Charlie would not have waited for the funeral or memorial to happen. He would have gotten to work immediately. He would have worked night and day to uncover exactly what had happened to his great friend. Consider this. Charlie did not sleep for several days and several nights just to ensure that J.D. Vance became the vice presidential nominee. And although that job was supremely important for the country and its future, it was still ultimately simply helping to secure a job promotion. Candace is working to get to the truth of who killed Charlie Kirk and why they did it. Charlie's execution is an assassination with potentially far-reaching political consequences for America and the world. What we have seen so far beggars belief. A crime scene apparently completely destroyed in days, and plenty of evidence that simply does not add up. This investigation and the truthful answer as to who was really responsible for deciding that Charlie would be executed in front of the world will affect America's future, its collective soul and conscience forever. The truth, when known, and we believe it will be known, will have far-reaching international consequences. The very idea that someone could be convicted and could receive the death penalty when there remains even the slightest shadow of doubt or shred of uncertainty that they may not be guilty of that crime, and that Christian souls would tolerate that possibility is anathema.
Wait. That's what we've all been saying for years. The reason that I am very reluctant to support the death penalty is not because I don't think that there are crimes that people deserve to die for. There are 100% crimes that people deserve to die for. The reason that I can't get fully behind supporting the death penalty is because I don't trust the process enough to say you're 100% accurate and this person deserves to die for their crimes, right? How many times have we seen people in jail for 40 fucking years and then DNA evidence comes out and they're like, that wasn't even fucking there, right? Nowhere, this is the wrong person. And now fucking suddenly they're on board now that the person the Jews set up as killing Charlie
did it. Charlie's execution is an assassination with potentially far-reaching political consequences for America and the world. What we have seen so far beggars belief. A crime scene apparently completely destroyed in days, and plenty of evidence that simply does not add up. This investigation and the truthful answer as to who was really...
If somebody walks in on you doing anything with a child, 100%, that should be an automatic death penalty, right? On the spot, right? Like I don't want you rehabbed. I don't want you reformed. I don't want you back in society ever again. You're done. You had one chance. You fucking blew it. Okay? The problem is it's hard to make stipulations like, oh, well, we had an eyewitness and this, and then we have people lie, and then we have testimony that doesn't match up. We have testimony that gets barred from ever hitting the courtroom for reasons that this judge didn't like it or that or blah, 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 right? So it's so fucking hard to trust the system. Our system's built on letting guilty people go so innocent people don't suffer, but it still doesn't always work out that way.
Responsible for deciding that Charlie would be executed in front of the world will affect America's future, its collective soul and conscience forever. The truth, when known, and we believe it will be known, will have far-reaching international consequences. The very idea that someone could be convicted and could receive the death penalty when there remains even the slightest shadow of doubt or shred of uncertainty that they may not be guilty of that crime, and that Christian souls would tolerate that possibility is anathema to all the teachings of Christ. If there were circumstances where a suspect or someone standing trial for murder did not have a clean opportunity to receive the very best and fairest legal representation to present their case and defense to the world, it would have been aborted and could receive the death penalty completely destroyed in days, and plenty of evidence that simply does not add up. This investigation and the truthful answer as to who was really responsible for deciding that Charlie would be executed in front of the world will affect America's future, its collective soul and conscience forever. The truth, when known, and we believe it will be known, will have far-reaching international consequences. The very idea that someone could be convicted and could receive the death penalty when there remains even the slightest shadow of doubt or shred of uncertainty that they may not be guilty of that crime, and that Christian souls would tolerate that possibility is anathema to all the teachings of Christ. If there were circumstances where a suspect or someone standing trial for murder did not have a clean opportunity to receive the very best and fairest legal representation to present their case and defense to the world, it would have been abhorrent to Charlie Kirk. It would go against every constitutional principle that he lived, fought, and died for. Erica is in mourning. May God bless her and her family. Please give her and her family time to grieve. Any civilized culture, Christian or otherwise, allows a grieving widow 40 days of mourning to make peace with the Lord and to respect the departed. Those people who truly love her would gladly grant her all the space she needs. We certainly do. But we are growing rather sick and ashamed of seeing people criticize Candace for doing her level best to get to the bottom of and to the truth of what happened to Charlie on that day. You don't have to agree with Candace on every subject that she addresses on her shows to acknowledge that much of what she is presenting on the subject of Charlie's death is extremely concerning to America and to the world, completely valid and very relevant to the investigation. She has an army of truth seekers worldwide who are helping her in her search and her research. This is a truly new and modern phenomenon that has never happened before. This is not 1963, and boomers need to get used to it. In our view, the official investigation should be immediately ordered by the appropriate legal authority to proactively share everything they know with Candace and her selected team. That is, if truth and real understanding of who decided to assassinate Charlie and why is the sincere objective. That would go some way towards restoring public trust in the system. It is our view that her actions are not just the actions that any real friend would take for their friend. They are the actions of the highest order of patriotism. Candace's actions are service to the whole country and to the world. Beyond that, they are truly providential, divinely inspired, and metaphysical. There is a relationship between truth and all living things. There is a relationship between truth and God. Right now, Turning Point USA is at a vital moment. If we continue to witness the mistreatment and the suppression of a young woman and a mother of 4 young children who's doing everything she can to help get to the truth about who decided that her friend and fellow freedom fighter Charlie had to die, they will lose the country and the world. And America will have lost one of its greatest living patriots only to see those factors against which she fought and died for win. Candace's extremely valid point that hers has so far been one of the only public voices from Charlie's closest friends questioning the absurdity of some of the communications regarding what happened and demanding clarity is well made, and frankly, that point alone is shocking to the world. We have been receiving calls from senior Republicans and from Turning Point donors who agree with her all last week, and they started up again this week. They agree with Candace, but seeing the attacks that she is experiencing, they are terrified to voice their views publicly. Is that really where we are in 2025? Few people following the matter believe the official version. A low minority believe that the current suspect is guilty. That statistic alone is an awful commentary on the state of the official investigation. The world wants truth. The world, Charlie, and those who truly loved him and whose purposes certainly deserve justice. But justice needs not just to be done. It needs to be seen to be done justly. I'm going to read that sentence again because it's very powerful. Justice needs not just to be done. It needs to be seen to be done justly. It must be truthful, it must be fair, and it must be clean. If there are videos, show them. If there's evidence, show it. The world is not going to accept anything less. This is not about who is right or wrong, or whose theory is correct. Candace's investigation is about actually getting to the truth, whatever that truth is. If the current theory for the shooter is truth, then okay. That is a lie, then we need to know. Every episode of Candace's show since Charlie died, her heartfelt emotional tribute to her exceptional journalism has been incredible, and anyone who cares for the truth and who wants to know who killed Charlie for real should watch every episode in its sequence. The fact is that we are being told as his friends, or simply as people who had never heard of Charlie Kirk before his assassination, simply does not make sense to the vast majority. It feels like gaslighting. It feels like we are being lied to. It is not hard to tell the truth to the public or to present the clear facts that illustrate the truth clearly. Many extremely ethical people helped to build Turning Point and all associated groups, Turning Point Action and Turning Point Faith. Many of these people are existing and potential future donors. We know many of them. Ethical people will not stand for lies or injustice, either privately or publicly. The existing and future donors who were friends of Charlie's and those he loved deserve no less. But please spare us the absurd and evil suppression of suggesting that Candace should not be doing exactly what she is doing. She's doing no more and no less than what her friend Charlie would have done for her. Her actions are far more reasonable and experienceable than an assassin's bullet to the throat. Consider for a moment the evil of possibly allowing the conviction of a potentially innocent party with the death penalty. We can only begin to imagine the wrath of God and how upset Charlie will be if an innocent man were to be executed for his assassination, and what ill fortune would befall a Christian country and the individuals that would allow this. In this sense, Christianity and a leading Christian democracy are now on trial. There's a special place in eternity reserved for.
By the way, the Department of Homeland Security is now using video game memes from the Halo series to dehumanize immigrants, saying destroy the flood, join ICE.gov.
Those who would allow such an injustice. If Turning Point and Charlie left in charge, if Turning Point and those who Charlie left in charge failed to stay true to the principles and purposes on which Charlie founded it, and with which he and Candace originally breathed life into it during its formative years, then Turning Point will end up like MySpace. It will become just one more ineffective and rather dull has-been activity. I believe that God has other plans for Charlie and for his legacy. A cover-up of the truth is not, in my view, part of God's plans. I believe that people of goodwill from all over the world will ensure that. Keep going, Candace. Charlie is walking with you every step of the way. He loves you deeply, and you are right about your friendship with him. Never at any time, through all the challenges that the political arena and life brought, did he ever withdraw his friendship from you, Candace. You are an eternal cornerstone in his life and his legacy. What a great friend you are being to him. We're all witness to that. All of our love, John and Rena. Oh, it's gonna make me cry again. It's just like, I really need it. I don't know. I just really need it. Like, it's just, I feel like I kind of went through a process where I was going, like, in those 2 weeks following, was any of it real? You know, like, when I expressed to you that I felt that Charlie's life was like the Truman Show. And then I know that's how you guys felt, because we were just expecting a fight. We were just expecting a fight. And instead it seems like the very things that Charlie was fighting, lies, no matter what they were, somehow were being platformed and allowed. So thank you, John. Thank you, Rena. I cried last night reading that. I almost cried on air there reading it again. I needed it. So anyways, you guys, I'm going to read a couple of more sponsors, and I want to get to all of your comments, some explosive things that we'll be revealing tomorrow. I'm really excited about everything. And also I want to add to this, thank you guys, not just John and Rena for being the first donors that took a public stance, but before they did this, it was all of you guys at home. Truly, the tags fighting for me in the comments when I was being smeared, when they even tried to wipe away my friendship. Like, she hasn't spoken to him since 2015. It was you guys. Like, you, this letter is for you. Every time he says Candace, he means all of us. So I was happy, brought literal tears to my. I want to say one more thing rather explosively. 3 people told me off record. 2 people who have this in a written communication from Charlie. One who was a Turning Point USA donor, and I would say very much one of the white knights in this. The very day before Charlie Kirk died, he expressed that he thought he was going to be killed. He told these people, I think they're going to kill me. Okay. He did not express that to me, so I'm telling you this based off the testimony of 3 people. And I'm saying this because I hope that these people who I think are good will be inspired to come forward with that. Now, again, those conversations I had were off record. I honor that. If I say it's off record, it stays off record. But I'm hoping that watching what I am doing and feeling the energy that is rising across the world for people who want to know what the heck happened on 9/10, that, you know, they will be brave and they will say, yeah, Charlie did the day before he died, think that he was going to be killed, and maybe tell us, who is they? Well, for once and for all, who is they? Who is the they that he thought were going to kill him? I want to say one more thing rather explosively. 3 people told me off record. 2 people who have this in a written communication from Charlie. One who was a Turning Point USA donor, and I would say very much one of the white knights in this. The very day before Charlie Kirk died, he expressed that he thought he was going to be killed. He told these people, I think they're going to kill me. Okay. He did not express that to me, so I'm telling you this based off the testimony of 3 people.
He predicted it, guys.
Even this headline is crazy. Yeah, this came out that, like, their TikTok, which we covered this before, the moderation team, like IDF soldiers, and Bibi Netanyahu saying, we're taking over TikTok. If my agents are going to get that in a purchase, that's what needs to happen so that we can win, announcing essentially psychological warfare on the American people, because they don't think we can think for ourselves and decide who we want to follow on X all by ourselves. Apparently, they're going to ban the juice box emoji. Right? Because they can't talk about monetary visual, have been using like the apple juice because juice can sound like Jews. And so they're now moderating that. And I will say this, that's going to be funny because it's going to be a game like Whack-A-Mole. And all we can do is laugh at it because these people are savvy. These TikTokers are like, they're pretty savvy on the internet. They're going to be, someone's going to be announcing like, let's use this emoji instead. From now on, this represents the monetary visual. And before you know it, there's going to be no emojis that are allowed on TikTok. Actually, it'll be funny. The funniest thing that they could possibly do right now is every time you want to talk about Israel on TikTok, use the term TikTok and see if TikTok will ban TikTok from TikTok. That's how we win. Like, if that happens, we win. Okay. We get to laugh forever that we made TikTok ban TikTok because TikTok is actually code for Israel. The modern state of TikTok That's what I want you guys to do. So that would just be funny. And we have to actually have fun because it's getting so crazy. We have to actually have fun and continue to smile and laugh and to be happy warriors for truth. Because Charlie always believed in being a happy warrior. That is just a fact.
Happy warriors for truth. That's all they're doing,
I'm
guys.
now going to present. I would never take my own life. I have no. Charlie was done with Israel bullying him, and I'm now going to present you proof of what I'm saying. This is an actual group chat.
Yeah, the GameStop Twitter page retweeted a bunch of stupid Trump shit. They're trying to get hype around the new Halo Evolved or whatever it's called is no longer an Xbox exclusive. It's going to be on PlayStation and PC and shit, I guess. And they're trying to get hype around that, but still, retweeting the president is a bad look.
And 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, there were 9 people in total on this chat, including Charlie and Rob McCoy. I'm going to protect the names of the other 7 for now. To be clear, I might actually release a name every day this week, but I want to show you this because suffice it to say, Rob McCoy was on this text thread, and I think it helps contextualize him as a person, in my view, that he would attack me for telling the truth about the pressure that he was facing. Take a look. So Charlie writes in this group chat, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Somebody writes, ugh. Charlie writes, Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Then somebody writes, a donor writes, please do not invite Candace. That might feel good short term, but it's not good long term. In my opinion, like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us makes life frustrating at times after the dust settles a bit, maybe. So again, this is 48 hours before Charlie was assassinated. He was very clear and he was very explicit, and he did not back down, not in that Hamptons meeting, which they're all lying about, nor in this text thread. I'm not going to reveal the names of the other 7. Actually, you know what? I disagree with myself 4 seconds ago. Let's just throw in Josh Hammer for funsies. He's on this chat, okay? So what are we to make of that? Okay, now that I'm showing you this and showing to you that the conversations were real, I want you to reflect. And it took me a lot of patience to allow the lies that were being woven and the misrepresentations of people that were pretending that I was just, high on lying about Charlie and the pressure he was under, the attacks, and not just me, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly faced for trying to stand up and tell the truth about what Charlie was actually going through. Why are you hearing it, though, from me and Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly? Isn't that weird? You got people that are hosting a show. Have they, in one honorable thing, come out and said, you know what, F a couple of these donors who made his life a living hell in the last couple of weeks? Why haven't they done that? It's also a rabbi in that chat, why hasn't anybody made that move?
Why aren't they allowed to take their money and go elsewhere when Charlie won't rein in fucking Tucker? Who, obviously they have that right. Remember the bakery that didn't want to make cakes or whatever? They have the right to take their money where the fuck they want.
To at least say, to vindicate what I have been saying about what he was going through, that registers.
They were making his life hell by pulling their $2 million in yearly donations to TPUSA. They were destroying him from the inside.
That's very suspicious. I'm going to frankly say that. It's suspicious to me. It makes me think that in the same way that Charlie was being pressured by money, that you might be now run by that same money, that those same donors might be running you. Charlie was done with Israel bullying him, and I now go, I would never take my own life. I have no suicidal thoughts. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she feels the need, as she did a couple of days ago, to publicly clarify that she is not suicidal. She wrote, I am not suicidal, and I'm one of the happiest and healthiest people that you will meet. I have full faith in God, and Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. As a sinner, I am only saved through his grace and mercy. With that said, if something happens to me, I ask you all to find out which foreign government or powerful people would take heinous actions to...
Have you all seen Brad Barton's post on the Jews?
Stop the information from coming out, not only about this issue, but because of the truth that I have been speaking. The people understand what I am saying. Yes, we are the people, and we understand what you are saying.
I would never take my own life. I would never take my own life. Okay? You hear that, Israel? I would never take my own life. I'm grateful to God for his grace in my life. I love my siblings. I have so many friends and people that love me and people that I want to see their children grow up. I'm hopeful that I get to have a wife and meet my own children one day. There's a ton of things in my life that keep me alive and hopeful, right? I want to be able to have an impact in the world. Those are just a few of them, probably. So many just moments we've shared on this show that I'm like, oh, I live for those things.
I mean, it's ridiculous, but we do all have to say it. If you have influence and you're speaking out against Israel, you do have to kind of make that statement. And so I join him in chorus and saying, I love my life, I love my children, I love my husband, my life is fantastic, I love all of you guys. You're such a blessing, and I would never take my own life. I have no suicidal thoughts. Not since I was 18 and an angsty teenager breaking up with a boyfriend.
I'm going to be honest, I might take my own life at some point.
I was going to do this forever. And I also wake up every day feeling encouraged because there are good people that are now naturally rising. And I know what that means is they have to artificially knock us out of the free market.
Especially if I have to keep listening to Candace Owens.
It's the ADL after this episode is going to do what they do and use their powerful influence to call YouTube. Last year what happened to me. And I'm prepared for that battle because I know that we cannot let our children inherit this world. We cannot allow our children to inherit a satanic organization that is happening across all of our countries simply because we were cowards. That can't be the thing. So I love Theo Von. He's great. I love that he's found so much success. He cracks me up. He really does. He's so funny and so talented. And we need him. We need everybody that's in this fight that has a platform. I would never take my own life.
Here's Brad Barton's post. The following has literally taken me almost a week to write. Let me be very clear here that I'm not arrogantly saying that I am beyond being mistaken in some way or another. And I can assure you that what I write here is not some form of jumping on some bandwagon, as I have been searching for the truth in regards to this topic for years now. I also take no pleasure in what I'm sharing here, as it's been very difficult for me coming to the conclusion that I am of the belief that we have very much, most likely, been duped by the great deceiver, that old serpent, the devil, and his minions here on earth in regards to this particular topic. And before anyone jumps up shouting, well, that's what the Bible says, allow me to be 100% crystal clear here with you. I 100% firmly believe the Bible in the original manuscripts to be the inerrant Word of God. 100%. The Word of God is not the problem. The problem lies in the interpretation concerning this topic, which has very nefariously been shoved down our throats for the last 100 years or so by the likes of C.I. Scofield, John Darby, and agents of the Luciferian Rothschilds. So with all that said, I challenge you, my friends, to think about this. Are we, as Christians, specifically commanded to bless the 1948 Rothschild devil worshippers backed and founded modern geopolitical nation state they just happen to name Israel? I mean, really? And by the way, the vast majority of people living there today are not even Semitic. They are white Eastern Europeans or Ashkenazi Jews, which means they're imposters. They're Khazarians who identify, heard of that word lately, as Jews. They're no more Jewish than you or I or a boy pretending to be a girl or vice versa. Also, the overwhelming vast majority of American Christians have no idea that for the most part, these people pretending to be Jews do not even follow the Torah or the Old Testament. They follow something called the Babylonian Talmud. Clearly, he doesn't know what the fuck is going on here, but okay. Which is satanic to the core. It's commonly referred to as secret Satanism. The Talmud is, so you have the Torah, which is their holy book. The Talmud is a bunch of discussions of rabbis through the ages on this topic and that topic, and lectures and discussions and debates and back and forth. This unholy collection of books states that Mary, the mother of Jesus, was a whore, and that Jesus is presently in hell bullying in fiery excrements, i.e. shit. Don't get mad at me. I'm just telling you what these sickos believe. As hard as that may be to accept, sadly it's the truth. Friends, we were all taught from an early age that the Bible says in Genesis 12, 1-3, that those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. It was a few years back, though, that I discovered that it actually does not say that. If you don't believe me, go look it up and read it for yourself. Here's the King James Version for you. However, there's not one version that says it. Verse 1, Now the Father Lord said unto Abraham, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, and unto the land that I will show thee. Verse 2, And I will make thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. Verse 3, And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curseth thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed, which we all know to be the coming of Lord Jesus Christ. Nowhere in the passage does it say anything about a nation named Israel 4,000 years to come that's to be blessed. Over and over, the word says thee, as God is speaking directly to Abraham and no one else. Where exactly does Israel come into this? Well, now, it keeps going on. Well, now, church, that's what it's supposed to mean. Says who? Cyrus I. Scofield, a crooked lawyer with an alcohol problem turned pastor that abandoned his wife and two daughters, leaving them destitute, and moved off to another state and married a different woman. He is qualified to explain to all of us what God's word really says or means. A man of poor means, but somehow miraculously his new Scofield Reference Bible, scripture with his added commentary so that he could tell us what God really meant, was funded, promoted, and distributed all over America and through the American seminaries by the Oxford Press of England. And who owns the Oxford Press, you might ask? Well, what a coincidence. None other than devil-worshipping Rothschilds. the same exact Satanist banking family that would go on to found that geopolitical state over there in the Middle East. They just so happen to name Israel. Now, why would Satanists bankroll and promote a Bible that would lead people to Jesus? They wouldn't. So what's that tell you? Oh, and why would a Satan-worshiping family conveniently attain a piece of land they had no legal right to and slap the name of Israel on it? Allow me to give you a hint. Israel's Mossad, their version of the CIA, literally has as its motto, by deception thou shalt make war. There's like 5 more paragraphs. You guys want me to continue reading this or no? Sorry, but I'll stick with what God says, not what Schofield or you or me or some pastor or rabbi or anyone else says. And don't even think to start with the anti-Semite baloney. As God is my witness, I'm not anti-anyone. Edit. I am anti these lying imposters making true Jewish people look bad. I'm not anti-anyone. But the people I label fake Jews, I am anti them. Anyone saying differently is just a flat-out liar. I'm strictly Team Jesus and pro God's word. Period. Period. He's pretty good at that period. I got to be honest with you. Period. I'm not anti-anyone. Then he puts in parentheses. Oh, wait. I am anti these people that I label as fake Jews because I somehow studied that up and figured it out. Fucking loser.
All right, here it goes.
This is the Halloween special we've all been waiting on. You guys ready? The Chet Halloween special. Excuse me.
All right, here it goes. What's this?
Hey, Chit.
Yeah.
Scared you, huh?
Yeah. Didn't see it coming.
Even though it's like the 10th time you played it?
Yeah. Got me.
Well, hey, I like your costume.
Thanks. Yeah. Got to go all out for Halloween.
Yeah, well, it's a great get-up.
Yeah. Don't tell anyone, but this is actually my second time wearing it.
Oh, yeah?
But I think it's been long enough since prom.
Chet, I asked you to hold the ladder while I'm up here.
Yeah.
Hey, Peter, shouldn't you be asking Superman to help you out?
I believe I asked all of you to help me, but once again, I'm the only one in this office actually working.
Happy Halloween!
Oh, you're a big black queen.
Chet.
What?
Here I am.
Yeah.
And guess who I have with me?
Who?
Who is this?
This is my niece Jada, and we are going around collecting candy. Yeah. Okay, so what do we say?
Trick or treat.
Definitely trick.
It's pretty good.
Give the child some candy.
Saint Blaine.
Chet the ladder.
Jada, I love your costume. These are the coolest.
What do we say?
Thank you.
Yeah. Just be careful not to sting anybody or you'll die.
Chet, you actually look really good in a cape.
Oh, yeah, thanks. You know, capes are notoriously hard to pull off.
Okay, well, we're gonna.
He keeps looking at that guy.
All right, everybody. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, Jada.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah.
That should just about do it.
Whoa, Peter, you did so much.
Yeah, well, idle hands at the devil's workshop.
Oh, good one.
Thank you.
Hey, guys.
Whoa.
He always scares that same woman. Got her.
Hi.
Got her.
Well, there goes all the pumpkin bread I brought you.
Hey, Janice, you can't be a witch. You're too sweet.
Now you gotta watch closely here.
Halloween lets people be things that they never could be.
He keeps fucking over this guy. He can't wear a cape. He's something he never could be.
Kyle, aren't you in a costume?
I don't know. I just never really got into this holiday.
Careful, Kyle. Spooky things can happen on Halloween.
Well, I guess I'll go get a broom.
Shouldn't you already have one?
Oh, because I'm a witch. Okay, very funny, Chip, very funny.
How did he jump out over there? Oh no!
Kyle!
Yeah.
Kyle!
Wake up, Kyle.
What happened?
The ladder fell on you. I gave you CPR.
You mean I actually stopped breathing?
No. But you gotta try.
Okay, thank you.
Gotta try.
Sam, do you have any ibuprofen? What?
Something wrong?
Is he okay?
Oh no.
Aid kit.
Peter, I think I... No.
Kyle, you need first aid.
No. Oh, thank God. Linda?
Yeah.
Wait, no, Linda. I'm freaking out.
You are?
Oh no. Oh.
You can't.
Back to it then.
Janice?
Oh, Kyle! God, you scared me.
Sorry. You're not shit.
What? Of course not. Are you okay?
Yeah, I think I am now.
Well, I dropped more of my pumpkin bread.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Let me help you pick that up.
Okay.
Oh, I feel like I'm losing my mind. But it's just so good to see your face.
God, he's in the shitter. Yeah. Yeah. Back to it then.
Success.
Now Kyle's chit.
He's waking up.
Kyle, are you okay?
You're you. And you're you. Linda, you're you.
Yeah.
And there's only one you.
Yeah. Although technically I did absorb a twin in the womb.
Yeah.
Gosh, you guys were all shit.
Ooh, spooky.
Except for you, Janice. You were like a monster or something.
Kyle, that's ridiculous. Janice isn't a monster. She's a demon.
What?
That was a pretty good. Happy Chitoween. Yeah. That was pretty good. I like the chit stuff. Not too shabby. All right, guys. I guess that's it. I got to work in the morning. Oh, if you like Dan McClellan, his new book came out, and it's for sale right now. It's called The Bible Says So. I'm thinking about getting some people some copies for Christmas. It goes over what the Bible actually says and what it doesn't say, even though people have been indoctrinated to say, oh, the Bible says, this about abortion or this about gay sex or marriage or this. He goes over what the Bible actually says, and more importantly, what it doesn't say, but people want to claim that it does say. So there you go. Check out Dan McClellan's new book called The Bible Says So. It's been for sale for a while, so you guys can check it out. Anyways, thank you all for joining us. Thank you for being here. Happy Chitoween. I'm going to hop off here and get some rest. Again, I've got work in the morning. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. I got a video blowing up on TikTok with a bunch of Roblox kids. So there's that. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and supporting the show. You can, if you want to support the show financially, you can do that at buymeacoffee.com/coldbeer. buymeacoffee.com/coldbeer. And other than that, I will see you guys on the next one. You guys have a good night. Good to hang out and bitch about stuff with y'all. It makes it feel like it's not so unbearable. You guys have a good one.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the forking balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the forking balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit.
Where my true believer?
Y'all need Jesus.
Praise the Lord, head to the extreme.
All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like fool in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, eating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst.
Baby eating lizard people, alien sex.
What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
Good night, guys.